Welcome to the Flip Side, episode 25.
25.
25. That's a good number. That's a good number, Wyatt, right? It's a good number. I'm
Yes,
here
sir.
with my friend Wyatt. It goes by Rewilded Reselling. Is it
There we go.
Rewild? Rewilded?
Rewilded.
Rewild?
Yeah, I want to
Rewilded.
change. I want to change it. We can get into that, but yeah, I do
Yeah.
want to change it at some point.
Yeah. Well, before you change it, first let me welcome you to the flip side. So welcome to the flip side.
Yeah.
I know this has been your dream, your career, your goal when you started YouTube is one day you'll come on the flip side and you're finally here. So welcome.
Well, wow. Then this is huge. That's great. You know my dreams better than I do.
I tell everybody this is like the climax, the epitome of your career is being
Yeah.
here. So it's
It's all
all
downhill
goes
from here.
downhill. Yeah,
Yeah.
just saying, just downhill. So before you introduce yourself and all that, I have a question that I've been dying to ask you for about 7 days now.
All right.
Are the shoes still in the pond?
They are still in the pond, and it's driving me insane. I'm stuck. I am stuck. If you guys aren't following that series, I'm trying to flip stuff locally, so only like Facebook marketplace flips, which is difficult because I live in a pretty small town.
Mm-hmm.
So unless I have really good stuff like furniture, like golf clubs, but like good golf clubs, and it's very hard for me to just like throw a pair of shoes on Facebook Marketplace here and sell them. So I made it pretty tough. But yeah, I have a pair of $500 Kobe Bryant shoes. I quadruple wrapped them in all these bags and I threw them in a pond. And basically the challenge was like, I want the shoes, but I kind of like put them on a credit card. And I'm like, can I just flip stuff locally fast so that I can get them back out? So it kind of like prompted me
Yeah.
to like sell quickly. And it was going great the first 3 or 4 days, but man, I need $150 left, and I am
And you're
stuck.
stuck. It would have been great for you to get them on Kobe Day, right? Especially today. That would have been just like insane how
I
that would have worked
know.
out.
I
Yeah.
know. I thought about it today. I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, I saw something about Kobe Day, and I was like, man, I tried. I really did. I have tried, but no luck.
Yeah, I feel you on the marketplace because I used to live in Philly, hence the name, but I don't live in Philly anymore. I live in Sarasota County, Florida, where it's a completely different audience, completely different, way less people. So I used to flip things locally in Philly all the time. And I would put
Yeah,
something same day, it would sell because of the audience.
yeah,
Here I've had stuff that's been good stuff that's been here for 2-3 months that no one wants to come and pick up because it's just not the right place. So I
yeah.
definitely feel you. When I heard you were going to do local, I was like, oof.
No,
That's
I know.
it's
Well,
not
what's
easy.
funny is I do have one set of golf clubs that I kind of threw together. Like the irons are the same, but then the driver, the 3 wood, the putter, all different brands. All
Uh,
pretty good brands, but it's a mixed set. But if somebody just wanted a set to go play with their
mhm.
buddies, it'd be better than going to like Walmart. But um I anyway, so I put the set together. Well, I had the irons listed on eBay, and someone sent me an offer today for those irons, and the offer's like pretty good. But I'm like, if I get rid of these, then I don't have very many options for like local flips. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to, like suck it up and like go out on a sourcing day and like find some good stuff to flip locally. So
Have you got any like messages about them locally yet, or no?
yeah, I've had like 5 or 6 people message me, and they do the whole, "Are you, or is this still available?" And then
That's
I'm
the
like, "Yes." And then a couple people like just lived too far away; they weren't willing to drive, and then the other people just ghosted me, which is pretty common.
uh, uh, that's another thing, man. Ghosting you. I've had people ghost me when I'm already waiting to meet them. I'm already at the parking lot waiting,
Yeah,
and then they're like, "Oh, sorry, my grandfather's cat died or something, and I couldn't message you for the last 12 hours." Yeah, it's
people on Facebook, they do not care if they just absolutely
nope.
ruin your day. I've driven
They
40 minutes before and then get there, and then the person's like, "Oh, sorry, this." I'm like, I told you beforehand, I'm driving like a good distance to come meet you.
nope.
Like
I don't care.
I always tell them, I'm like, I have a family, man. Like I have things to do. You can't just be like leaving me out here to dry. Like, come on.
Yeah,
So
Facebook is a different beast, man. Good luck to your journey. Hopefully, by the time this podcast comes out, which is going to be Sunday,
yeah,
hopefully the shoes are out. That would be
hopefully.
great. Yeah, you guys can follow his journey either on Instagram or on YouTube? Are you on TikTok as well? I'm guessing you're on
Yeah,
TikTok as well, right?
yeah, TikTok, yeah.
All right. So explain a little to people, guess who you are. Be good little segue into who is Rewilded and Reselling.
Okay. Well, yeah, my name is Wyatt. My first name is Wyatt, and I do want to change my social media name at some point. But no, I started part time eBay reselling about 4 years ago. So it was like 2019, and when I originally
That's when I
got,
started.
is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I originally got into it, I was kind of on the like sneaker bandwagon. Like I really wanted to flip like, retail, like kind of like sneakerhead type stuff, like the
Mm-hmm.
drops and the Jordans and all that. And but I just realized really quickly like that would require quite a bit of upfront capital and just a little
Yeah.
more difficult to just get into that game and like do it. So a couple of really just like within weeks of that, then I stumbled. It was weird. Harry Tornado, Josh reached out to me on Facebook Marketplace because he lives.
Never heard of him. Who's
Yeah,
this guy?
well, yeah. Well, if y'all haven't heard of him, he's on the internet. But no, he reached out to me to try to buy some hats from me. So I wasn't even trying to resell. I just literally had some hats on Facebook Marketplace that I was trying to get rid of, and he like lowballed the heck out of me. Because he's reselling. So
Sounds like Josh. Okay, keep
yeah,
going.
so I had like 8 or 10 like old school vintage hats that I had for years, and I think I had like $15 each on them or something, and he offered me 20 for all of them. So I'm like,
that's quite the low blow.
it was a like looking back even now that I'm a reseller, I'm like, I know it's pretty stiff, man. Like one of them was like one of those like corduroy Raiders hats, like pretty good hats. Anyways, so I didn't. I just was like, no. I just declined him. But then I clicked on his Facebook profile, and I see a YouTube video, and it was him at a yard sale. And he had less than 1,000 subscribers at this time. So
1,000.
yeah, less than a
Dang.
thousand.
Okay.
If I remember right, he hit around 800. And so I watched the video, and I'm like, I didn't know people could do this. Like I just didn't know. And so I watched it, and I was like, that's pretty cool. And then I messaged him back, and I'm like, what do you do? What is this? Like, what's this YouTube thing? And long story short, we get together for lunch one day, and he kind of told me about like everything he's doing, and he still had the insurance job at that time.
Yeah.
And then a couple weeks later, he was fired from that, like the story. So, anyways, that was kind of my entrance into reselling. Was right through Harry Tornado,
Dang.
but pre, Harry Tornado now has all this influence. Like he was just like a dude in, a couple miles down the road who happened to start reselling. So
yeah, a low ball and hats turned into this. It's pretty much.
I know.
This is how it went down.
I need to make a video telling the whole story or something one day.
I feel like it'll be pretty cool. You're pretty good at the storytelling part, so that would work.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And when did you start like making content?
So I started doing the flipping, and that was right around the time that my daughter was born, and I did that part time for like a year and a half, and I was about, I don't know, 6 or 8 months into reselling. I began to see the potential, and I was like, man, that's pretty cool. And at the time, I worked for a gym, so I was a trainer at a gym, and it was a cool job, but I didn't love it. I didn't love it, and so when I started seeing the potential of reselling, I was like, I wonder if I'm only doing this 10 or 15 hours a week right now. Like, what if I didn't have another job?
Yeah.
And so I kind of came to a point. I had a conversation with my boss, and I was like, hey, I've got this side hustle that I've been doing. I really like it. I think I can, build it up and it could be a business. And so we kind of came up with a plan for me to like slowly back away from all of my duties, because I was kind of at that point, I was like the manager of the gym / trainer / paper, like back end client paperwork type of stuff. I was doing all kinds of stuff for the gym, and I just slowly kind of came off of some of those tasks. And then by the time my daughter was born, I pretty much quit and went full time with reselling.
Wow.
So it was a good slow transition. I wasn't like rushed into it or anything.
Yeah. So you pretty much was your wife working at this time, I'm guessing, right? Or did you have to get insurance on your own? All that.
Yeah,
that's the biggest hurdle is insurance, right?
I know. Yeah, you're right. And she was working. She had she was kind of in between jobs too, but yeah, she had like a pretty good job, and then she kind of started doing a little bit more of a job and a side hustle sort of also. And then I guess like a year and a half into my full-time reselling journey, she started the bookkeeping business that she does now. So
Okay.
we're kind of both like self-employed and entrepreneurs. So yeah, that trend, she was super understanding with all of that. Because I mean, even if you build up, I mean, still, it's so much different having like
Yeah.
a side hustle become your main source of income
Oh yeah,
versus
for
having a
sure.
job with a W-2. Like, it's just like it's an adjustment for sure.
Yeah, especially as a family. It's
Yeah,
for me, it's one thing being single, but as a family, it's completely different.
yeah.
All right. So you're an entrepreneur. Your wife's an entrepreneur. When is your kid going to have her own business? What's going to happen? What's taking so long there?
No, exactly. She turns 4 in a couple of days. I don't know.
Slacking.
By the time she's never, I don't know. I could probably get her to clean some shoes or something.
Get her have like a lemonade stand every weekend or something. You know? She
Yeah,
got to start producing, man. She's just out there just mooching off you guys. You got to
just
do
watching
something.
movies and we're in the background working and
Terrible.
exactly.
So about 4 years ago, you started going full time.
Mhm.
You're reselling, and then when do you decide to make a YouTube channel? How did
Well,
that go
yeah,
about?
my bad. Yeah, so I didn't really say that. So, yeah, you asked me that, and I went too far back.
You just
No,
ignore my questions and answer your own questions. That's how this podcast is gonna work.
yeah, pretty much. So earlier today, no, I'm just kidding. As soon as I went full time, I pretty much started a YouTube channel right around that time. And so,
Okay.
again, going back to like the Harry Tornado story, he and I, became, acquaintances. We're seeing each other at most of the same places. And at that time, if you kind of go back on his channel, you'll see a lot of content about an Amazon return, bin store. It
Yeah.
was real popular here, and it was awesome. He and I and Flippy McFlipperson, gosh, we did that thing every week, Friday and Saturday. It was so much. It was such easy. To this day, that is the easiest money I ever made, and
Oh,
it
really?
lasted for about a year. Like, it was a cakewalk. I mean, you walk in there, you're always leaving with like $400 or $500 worth of stuff, But we he, so I just being there around him, like kind of gleaning from his journey and everything. I pretty much started a YouTube channel as soon as I went full time, just because I had a little bit of extra time. I could kind of choose what I wanted to do. So, but I started with long form YouTube. Obviously there wasn't at that time, there wasn't really
This was
short stuff.
before it was your pet peeve was long form. This is
Exactly.
before this happened. Okay, I got you.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah. Before anything over 6 minutes became grotesque to me, I was making those videos. But no, it was fun. Like I loved, that first part of that. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any background with video editing. I'm sure a lot of people that do
Yep.
this don't. But yeah, just
Same way.
started slow.
Yeah. I met you. I don't know if you remember how I met you. We were part of a Baldy's challenge together. He did this like
Yeah.
forgot what it was like no comp, something like that. Some kind of
Yeah,
you go and
you had to
yeah.
thrift without looking up any comps. I have a
Yeah.
crazy story about that, by the way.
Yeah, well, go ahead, sure.
Okay, so we did that. I remember that distinctly because I was I had to go to all my family is from Texas, and so then that's where I'm from. That was during the summer, and we had a trip planned to go there. So like I did that challenge like a couple days before we left. So I edited that video while we were in Texas. But
Oh,
my like big item for that challenge was this leather jacket. It was like a vintage, like kind of USA themed. It had like a big American flag on the back. I don't know, but it was like a leather biker jacket.
uh-huh.
It was kind of beat up, so it wasn't worth a ton, but I listed it, and then I don't know, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month later, someone purchased it right on eBay, and the person reaches out to me and they're like, "Hey, I'm buying this for an actor. It's going to be part of his on-set wardrobe." And I'm like,
Whoa.
"That's pretty cool." So I was like, "If you don't mind sharing, like, who is it?" And it was a woman. She said, "His name is Jonathan Majors." And I was like, okay, I don't really know who that is. I look him up and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. He's kind of been in, I think he was kind of sort of like, he's done more stuff since then. But Now he's kind of a big time now. Now recently he's kind of in like a scandal type situation, so it kind of stinks. But he
Oh, he's in the scandal now. Yeah.
he is. I don't know if he like there was like an abuse situation. I don't know, but he's like in the middle of a scandal. But he was like um supposed to be in some pretty big movies, like Creed 3, I think he was supposed to be in with Michael B. Jordan. And anyways,
I see he's in a
um
lot of like Marvel movies, right?
yeah, he's a super like built kind of strong guy, so he kind of fits
Yeah.
those like fighter roles or whatever. But the movie was called Magazine Dreams, and it was about like an amateur bodybuilder. And so anyway, she tells me this. I'm like, that's pretty cool. When's it going to be like filmed? And she was like, well, this was in, I don't know, that was a few years back, so it was
Yeah.
going to be like later that year. Well, it happened, and then it went to Sundance, which is like I guess where movies go to be like, I guess
Yeah.
movie critics watch. I don't know. Anyways, it made it, and it had great reviews. Like last year, the 2022 Sundance Awards, it was like, I think it was like in the top 5 movies that went there. But then that scandal happened, and so like since then, like I think he's kind of been booted off some of the stuff he was working on. But anyways, I've made a couple videos about it. Both of them got some pretty good reach, like through TikTok. But last year when I made the secondary video, like that basically explained the story and showed the jacket and talked about Jonathan Majors, I had some like people reach out on the video, and they were like, "Yeah, I went to Sundance and I saw it, and he was wearing that jacket in the movie."
Oh,
Like,
that's sick.
no way! So it's pretty cool. I mean, but that was
Yeah.
also a challenge. So
No, that's like the one like the aspect people don't want to talk about.
yeah,
Reselling is really cool because you get to like sell things and make money, but these stories are like, whoa,
yeah,
like I haven't had anything like that, but I had stuff like, hey, like I had this toy when I was like a kid, I lost it. 20 years later, I finally found it again. Stuff like that. You're like,
yeah,
whoa, it's cool to connect people to whatever they had. So
yeah.
it's cool that that's something you found at a thrift store in South Carolina,
Crazy.
end up
Yeah,
being in the
crazy.
movie. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, yeah. It was pretty cool.
So you said you're from Texas,
Yeah.
and when you came on our draft on at the FlipCon, you said something about your grandpa got deleted from history, something like that. You were sharing a story about him like that.
That's funny. Yeah, you caught that. That's crazy. Yeah, well, it was a lot further back than my grandpa. So that was in I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Tombstone, but Tombstone was it's like a Western film, but Wyatt Earp is the main actor, like the stories about Wyatt Earp. He was kind of like he was sort of an outlaw in ways, and then he was also like a hero in ways. And you kind of see that in the movie. But regardless, the movie centers around this town in Arizona called Tombstone, and Wyatt Earp becomes, I guess, the sheriff of Tombstone, if I'm getting all my facts right. But in the movie, his 2 brothers are with him, and one of his brothers in one of the scenes, they're basically trying to outlaw cowboys having guns in the city limits. And they're like,
Uh-huh.
you can carry a gun outside of the city limits, but you can't carry a gun in the city limits. Well, that whole scene, it shows one of Wyatt Earp's brothers as the one that was like kind of giving this speech to everyone and like laying down the law. Well, it was actually an ancestor of mine who was doing that, but
Oh wow.
he kind of got deleted from history because he was in Tombstone for like a year and a half, and he was either the marshal or the town manager. I always get it mixed up. Um, but I guess he stole money from the town of Tombstone and then just fled. Like he stole it, left, and so there's nothing. I guess he hid after that. There's like nothing about him that I can find. He's not my direct descendant. He's like the original person that came over from France had like 12 kids.
Hmm.
I'm from like the 4th line. This was like a different line, but yeah,
That's
his name was Benjamin Sippy. My last name is Sippy, so Benjamin Sippy.
that's still pretty close to you. That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, especially because I was okay. So I was named after Wyatt Earp, but like my parents didn't know that story when they named me. Like my dad was
Oh, really?
I'm kind of from a cowboy background, so like that was just I think my family already liked that movie, and then we kind of found this out later, so it was kind of funny.
Dang.
Yeah,
I thought they knew. That's why you were called Wyatt.
mm,
Because yeah, but dang, that's pretty cool.
yeah. I'm an interesting guy, Paul.
I see that you got a lot of stories. A lot of stories.
Yeah,
That's why I want to have you on because I know through just your whole when you started producing shorts and making short form content,
Yeah.
you got a lot of stories, I'm sure, to tell from that. Like, I want to get into your the Louis Vuitton thing. That was a pretty cool story you were sharing about that. And like, if you want to talk about that real quick, about
Yeah.
the trunk, right? Trunk,
Yeah. The trunk.
chest, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was kind of like the beginning of my my short form journey, like of like discovering that, man, okay, I can be a reseller, but I can sometimes my content can kind of deviate from just like the sales, the eBay flips. Like sometimes, I can deviate. And so yeah, I did this clean out for this lady. It was kind of a weird connection, but she was like an kind of an elderly lady. Her husband passed away. She lived in this like pretty much this mansion, and she was just all alone. And she just got to the point where she couldn't pay for everything by herself. So she knew she had to move out. And a friend of mine kind of does clean out. She's kind of like a side hustle clean out business. And so there was so much stuff though. She reached out to me and she's like, "Hey, some of this stuff is pretty good. Like, we're gonna do a yard sale, but if you wanted to like come pick through some of the stuff first and see if there's anything you want to take, you can." So I end up going. I meet this lady. We kind of build this connection. Well, then they're like, "Hey, would you basically help us put this yard sale on?" I'm like, I don't really want to do this, but I felt like, yeah, I should do that. So we did a 2-day, all day, yard sale. She had so much stuff. And at the end of the deal, she had this Louis Vuitton trunk, like an old school trunk. I mean, it was probably 4 feet wide or whatever. She had it for sale at the yard sale for like $1,000. And I'm like, no one's going to buy this thing because this was out in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
like, and so I had my eye on it the whole time. I'm like, dang, this thing's cool. Like, I'm never going to see one of these again. Like, and so at the end of it, I was like, I kind of tried to see what she was thinking with it. I'm like, what are you gonna, what are you gonna do with that thing? And she didn't really know, but we ended up just having like this back and forth conversation about it. And basically, she's like, listen, you've helped me for 2 days straight. Help me, if you don't mind, help me sell a few more of the bigger items that haven't sold yet, like even if it takes a month. And she was like, in return, I'd like to give this to you. And I was like,
Oh snap!
well, so I did, like probably, I don't know, 12 or 14 hours combined of like yard sale. And it was like a 40-minute drive. So I was driving back and forth. And so, I mean, it was a lot of work, but I mean, she definitely gave me a great, she hooked me up. So
Yeah.
she gave it to me and I was like, dang, this is crazy. So, so then I pretty much told the story. I went through short form content. I was like, I'm going to just tell the story about this whole thing. And I did like maybe like a 3-part series, and it was cool. And I still hadn't sold it yet. Like I made like a 3-part series, and that was just me trying to get it authenticated, which I was kind of like, I know it's authentic, but I kind of wanted to know like, how old is this thing? Like, is it 1800s, 1900s?
Yeah, just want to get a little more history about it, for sure.
And I found out that it was like the second model of those trunks ever made. And so it was from 1870 something. And super old. And so, yeah, it was pretty cool. And then like, because that was like in the summer or like early summer, then like in December, it finally sold on eBay for about $2,700. And that was pretty cool. So that was kind of a follow-up. I did 2 more parts, and those went crazy. Just the shipping and everything, but that was fun.
Yeah, how do you ship something that big? That's quite the that's quite the box.
That was my first experience paying UPS to pack and ship something.
Oh yeah, you did that. Yeah, so
if you have something really big, I've done it twice now. But like if you take it there, you know it's kind of pricey. But I was making basically 100% profit on that thing, so I didn't care. But after everything, I think it cost me about $400 to do everything through them, because they professionally pack it, and then that puts the insurance also on them. Like, if anything happens, it's on them. And then you can still buy the label through eBay. So I still got the good discount on the label, and then I just printed it out there and gave it to them. So
there you go.
I wasn't gonna pack.
I'll say it's pretty good. What'd you make after like fees? Like $2,000 probably, right?
Yeah, it was like 2,100 or something like that.
For 12 hours of work, it's not bad.
Yeah, I mean it was cool, and the people that bought it were cool. Like, on eBay, you don't usually communicate with people that much, but they like sent me messages and they were like, "Oh my gosh, we have a spot picked out for it in our living room. We know exactly where it's gonna go." I was like, Okay, cool. I'm glad you like it.
You got to be some rich folk to be
For
spending
real.
that
I'm
much
like,
money on the lawn decoration.
yeah, no doubt.
Eh, eh, is that kind of, did you see kind of like a boost in your like YouTube subs after that story too? Because I know those videos got some pretty decent views, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that was like my first. I had some kind of viral videos before that, but they were the kind of viral videos where it's like it's not necessarily because I knew what I was doing; it just happened to go viral. This was the first one where I was like, I want to like tell a story here, and I'm gonna edit and build out the story in a way that I hope reaches tons of people, and it
Yeah,
did. I don't remember exactly. I know on TikTok the first video got like maybe 400,000 or 500,000 views, and so it
that's
kind of
pretty good.
that the follow up videos later when I did the shipping video, that one did about 2 million. Um,
Sheesh, on
now,
TikTok.
yeah, on TikTok. Now I don't
Wow.
remember on YouTube. I know that series did pretty well. In fact, the shipping one to this day still is always like in my top 10. It gets a couple hundred views
Wow.
every hour, like
Dang.
still, so
Okay.
one of those, I think because it's like a how sort of like a here's how to ship something big through
Yeah.
UPS. It's like the SEO, it kind of just keeps getting views.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, what are you at on TikTok, like numbers wise?
TikTok, I know I just surpassed 90,000 followers.
Oh, so you're almost at six figures. Dang.
Yeah,
Okay.
that'll be cool. I mean, I always tell people now, I'm like, to me, followers for short form isn't necessarily an indicator that you're going to automatically get views because every
Mm-hmm.
video is judged individually. So, I've seen people that have a million followers start basically not caring about their content and get a couple thousand views every video. And then, I mean, I've
Yeah.
seen people who create a brand new account and their first video goes viral because they know what they're doing. But it
Yeah.
is an indicator that, either you've had just some super viral content or you've been doing it a while. So I was
Yeah.
telling people, to me, it's just cool. Like if someone has 100,000 followers on TikTok, then it either means they've been really consistent for a long time or, they make good content. They have some viral stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to hit 100,000. I think that'll be pretty cool.
Did
And
they send you anything for that, or is that just YouTube
No, but I was thinking the other day, I was like, it'd be cool if there was like a play button for
for
TikTok.
TikTok?
I
Yeah.
don't know how you could I was thinking honestly, I was thinking of it as like a little side hustle business. I was like, that'd be cool to do that, but I don't know if you don't know if I could put TikTok's logo.
Oh yeah.
Probably not
That
legal, but
they might have a an
I
issue
think
with
you
it.
come up with I don't know, it'd be cool if you had enough influence, you could come up with something, even if it didn't say TikTok on it, if it just said like maybe if it had more to do with views. I mean, that's with short form, it's it's pretty. I mean, I judge at least for myself when I'm thinking about my own um, growth. I always think in terms of like reach, views, and because again, like if you're trying to make it as a career and you're trying to have revenue from it, then really followers don't even. It's easy to
Well,
get followers, to be honest, and so it's not even about the followers. It's about like consistent, views and
yeah.
quality.
No,
Quality.
I say the same thing. Like you get paid by the views on YouTube.
Yeah.
Subs are good when you're doing brand deals and stuff. And that's when
Yeah.
probably the only time subs actually even matter.
Yeah.
And then obviously, if you want to get the milestones, if you want to get the play button,
Yeah.
100K. But besides that, like the way I'm growing, I'm happy with how I'm growing, and then I'm happy with the
Yeah.
views. that,
Heck yeah, man.
that's what I'm happy with.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh, so another little story about how shorts took you to places. Talk to me about the little shoe clean thing. That's kind of crazy. That story is nuts. Yeah.
The story is nuts, man. It's been a wild ride. So almost a year ago now, in October. So once we hit October to be a 1 year, I'm at CVS one day because that's where I take my UPS drop off packages where I live. It's the closest like location. I'm at CVS. I drop a package off, and as I'm standing there waiting for the lady to scan it, I see this little shoe cleaning packet, kind of at the checkout aisle or line, and it was $2. And so I was like, that's kind of cool. I'll just take it, test it out, and in my mind I was like, that'd be cool to make a video about it. But I'm not gonna act like I was like thinking, oh, this is gonna be what it ended up being.
This is gonna change my life.
Yeah. And so I was like, all right. I'm going to take this product. And once I got home, I started really brainstorming. I'm like, oh, this could actually be pretty good. And so I took my Adidas shoes that were kind of like a white color. I still have them. And I just got them super dirty on purpose in the video, but I basically said, hey, I found this $2 cleaning product at CVS. And then today I'm going to take my shoes and I'm going to get them super dirty. And then I'm going to test the product, see how clean it gets. And so I took them and rubbed them in some dirt. Then I took some cranberry juice and poured it on them and got them super dirty. And then I did the video. Well, the video went crazy. Got 11 million views within a relatively short amount of time. Within a couple weeks, it had gone boom, 11 million. And it was a 2-part video. So part 2 got another 2 million or something. And between part 1 and part 2, I actually looked up the product. It's funny. I just came home and made the video and didn't really.
Well, you think it's gonna go viral? You're just hey, let me put a video out. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I make the video between part 1 and part 2. I'm doing some research and I realized oh, this is a Shark Tank product. And I was like, that's crazy. So I look it up and I realized that the 2 guys who own the company, they had been on Shark Tank in 2000 and I want to say 18 or 19. And they got a deal with Lori and Alex Rodriguez. And this is cool. What are the odds? I mean, because it didn't say Shark Tank on the package or anything. So I just didn't know. And so anyways, on the video, on part 2, now that I had this information, I said tag Sneaker Racers, which is the name of the company. I was tag them in the comments. I want to get these people's attention. So all these people are commenting, tagging. And I sent them a couple DMs, and a couple days later they reached back out to me. They're like, hey, we weren't trying to ignore you. We were out of town or something. We're we just didn't see it. But what the heck did you do? Thank you. But what is this? Why did you make a video for us? And how'd you make it go so viral? I'm I don't know, but let's talk. And so we did a Zoom call and we got introduced to each other. And then we basically just didn't know where to go from there because they weren't necessarily trying to do any influencer marketing. Their product at the time and still to this day was really an Amazon product. I mean, they were ranked pretty high in the shoe cleaning category. They were doing well as a business. They hadn't had the greatest experiences with influencer marketing. So they were kind of a little bit put off.
Standoffish.
Yeah. And so, we just basically got a phone call and it was kind of all right, well, that was a cool whole thing that happened, but I don't know what's going to happen, Well, then we get through Christmas and in January, he calls me back and he offers me a job. And I'm
dang.
He basically wanted me to come onto their team and help them with marketing, social media. And I politely declined. I was I don't want to work for anybody. Just respectfully, I'm an entrepreneur because I want to be. But I was hey, I'm still open to helping you guys. Maybe let's figure something out. And so he kind of brainstormed and at the time, we still didn't know what that was going to look like. We kind of played around with some different ideas. Well, then in about, I don't know, was it March or April, for any of you that are on TikTok, you started seeing TikTok Shop promotions come up. Mm-hmm. And I remember even me seeing TikTok Shop and I just didn't really know what it was. Well, he calls me one day and he's like, hey man, there's this thing called TikTok Shop. And I'm like, yeah, I know about it. He's like, well, we're going to do it. And I'm like, where did this come from? You never liked TikTok before, But apparently because they were a Shark Tank company, TikTok really was pushing for Shark Tank companies to kind of get in there because it's already kind of viral material. Yeah. And so anyways, fast forward, they've done amazing. I kind of helped them brainstorm about some of the content and things like that, but it took off, man. They've killed it on TikTok Shop. They're one of the top 20 companies right now for TikTok Shop. And then that led us to the point where they were hey, we have this Shark Tank reunion conference every year that we go to. It's an annual event. It's just Shark Tank people. It's not affiliated with the Sharks or ABC Network, but it's Shark Tank alumni.
Yeah.
And he's we get to invite one person that's not within the company that's either like helped us or something. He's like, we want you to come. And I was like, that's awesome. So this was like just in I guess it was like in June or yeah, I think it was in June or July. And I went to Las Vegas and I spent like 3 days at this conference and it was just the coolest experience, you know. But yeah, it's just been cool, man. Like you just never know where this stuff's going to take you. I mean, you
For
take out
sure.
monetization, you take out all these things, like just learning to get eyeballs to your page, whatever that means. You just never know what that's going to lead to. Like, I mean, for some of you out there that are like on the fence about content, it's like,
Yeah.
who knows? You may not ever have 500,000 subscribers, but you may make one piece of content that like just reaches the right person and you know, you may get some kind of life-changing opportunity. Who knows?
Yeah, I like how you also just didn't care who you were. You're like, yo, let's tag these people. You're like, let's get like a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm too small. No one wants to see me. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
You're like, no, let everybody tag so and so.
Yeah.
I want them to know that I'm doing this video.
Yeah. It was
Um,
cool.
it's funny because I met Kendall at FlipCon. She said she
Yeah.
was you and her
I watched y'all's
acquaintances.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's trying to get Alani to sponsor her the energy drink. So
Oh, okay.
no matter what video she goes now, she like puts it in there. She like does the whole thing,
Yeah.
tags him all the time. I'm like, yo, you go, girl.
Yeah. That's awesome. I know. I've been I told Kendall about this guy too, but I've been watching this guy recently. He does a daily vlog, TikTok video. So they're just
Hmm.
a minute long, but it's a vlog. And I mean, when I say vlog, I mean this dude talks about what the heck he's gonna wear that day, what he's eating, what him and his wife are doing. Like it's a vlog, but he's very, very good at storytelling. So like he makes his normal day sound like the coolest thing under the sun. But
Yeah.
anyways, he consistently, which on TikTok this is small, but he like consistently gets like 10,000 to 15,000 views, which is not a lot, honestly, for a creator who's that talented. And I mean, anyways, but I just saw a thing the other day where he was on someone else's podcast talking about brand deals that he's gotten, and he's like viral content's amazing, all this stuff, but he's like, what I've noticed the most with brand deals is he's like, if they really like just you and they really like your
Yeah.
videos, I mean, views and stuff matter a little bit, but like sometimes they'll see past that if they really think that you just represent what their company's all about. And so
Hmm.
he's gotten like crazy brand deals, and he like barely has 100,000. He just surpassed 100,000 followers on TikTok, which again, that's like pretty small for someone. Like if you watch his
Yeah.
videos, you'd be like, well, this guy's like a pro. And it's like, yeah, he is, but he just does the same thing every day and he just never stops. Like he just keeps doing it.
And it's like major company brand deals or just like,
Like big, like drink company type stuff. I mean,
wow, okay.
stuff where you're like, what? And then like other just job opportunities. I mean, the guy travels to like New York and all these places all the time to edit and like help companies make
That's cool. Yeah.
video. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So
So going back to your little TikTok thing,
mhm.
when you said you did like a part one, part two, part three, have you noticed that being beneficial? So if you think people that are making short form should they do a part series? Does that get like the audience engaged in what's coming next? Do you think or no?
I think so. I think it doesn't. You don't have to always do that by any means, but leaving with short form, it's all about. It's like you have to cut out all the dead space. So you want to just leave a video, just leave it. Just like you get to the end of the video, don't even hint at the fact that the video is about to be over. Just stop. But if you can learn to build that out in a way that leaves it on like sort of a cliffhanger, then a series type video works great because then they're
Yeah,
like the algorithm knows, okay, they want to see the next part, which means they're gonna like it, they're gonna share, like they're gonna save it, they're going to comment on it, all those things. It's gonna bring it back to them whenever that next part comes out.
I'm
Um,
sure they're gonna follow too, right? That's probably gonna be the easiest way to get a
Absolutely,
follow. It's like, oh, I don't want to miss part two. Let me follow this guy so I see what happens next.
exactly. Yeah, I think I've had really good like success with doing some kind of series over time, and it before. So like when I first started, like back when I did that Louis Vuitton series, um, you really had to keep your videos under a minute. So I would kind of purposefully do like a 40-second part one and kind of purposefully not finish it out because sometimes I knew that would help. Now, you know, I get paid to make videos over a minute. So all of my videos are a minute plus. Sometimes they're around a minute and 20. So I try to not be as like if I can tell the full story in one video, I try to. But I also try to come up with ideas like the Kobe shoes series where I know it's going to require multiple parts because it literally is taking me 2 weeks to do it, you know? So yeah, both. I think both are good.
So how does that work with shorts? Because shorts can't be over a minute, right? They have to be under a minute. So do you make
YouTube drives me nuts, man.
do you make 2 different style of videos? Do you like edit one especially for shorts or you just don't put it at all on YouTube?
No, I do. I make one video and then I just have to edit, trim out some stuff for YouTube. It's really annoying, and I had to do it for Facebook too until just recently. So
Yeah.
It's weird because I'm like Meta owns, you know, it's Facebook and Instagram. On Instagram you could do a minute and a half, but on Facebook you couldn't. It was driving me insane. But they just changed it, so now the only platform that has to be under a minute is YouTube. And so what I end up doing a lot of times is just like I just trim as much as I can. Like sometimes I hate it because I feel like I'm having to pull out something that I really wanted to keep in the video. But what I've noticed is, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, you know, almost sometimes I'm like, well, I almost should just trim and then get that final product and then you just put that one on TikTok, because if I could have trimmed it out, but I don't know. I mean, I'm just playing around with different ideas. But yeah, I mean, I don't make different videos. It's one video, but sometimes I just have to like change the hook or like the ending a little bit, you know, to trim it.
Because to go from 120 to 1 minute is actually quite a bit. You got to cut out like 30% of the video.
Well, sometimes I sit there and it takes me 45 minutes to figure out what I want to actually cut out.
It's
the easiest thing is if it's a video where I've done a lot of dialogue with like somebody, like say I'm doing like a marketplace flip or like a yard sale video or something where there's like dialogue between me and someone else. Like a lot of times I can cut out a lot of dialogue and you can still get your point across. But if it's like a fully scripted video where I've like everything is scripted, it can be pretty difficult because I'm like, dang, every sentence matters in short form, you know, like, so it is what it is. I think YouTube will probably at some point, I'm sure they'll change it. I mean,
I don't know. It's YouTube.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah,
so you guys inspired me from the FlipCon thing. I went to yours and Carrie's, and I guess kind of art. So you just made art come up there. But so I've been doing TikTok a day now, 2 days in. That's on my thing, and I'm using CapCut, and I'm just downloading my garage sale footage and making TikToks out of it. So I had my first experience yesterday where we're like, oh man, my video is 147, it needs to be 130, and I legit had no clue what to cut. So what I did was I was like at 134, I had nothing else to cut. I did the last thing from 1 speed to 1.2x speed, just so I could fit into the 129 mark.
I've done that before. I've like time lapsed a portion just to get it quick. I've done that before.
Because I'm like, dang it, I gotta get into the one because I had no clue there was these limits. Now I thought like, oh, TikTok wants it to be over a minute, Facebook wants it to be over a minute. You know, let's do it. And I was like, whoa, it has to be less than a minute and a half for Facebook. Oh gosh, okay.
I know.
And I was like, there's no way I'm making it under a minute for for YouTube. So I didn't even post that one on there. But the one today I made today was like 47 seconds. That one's pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
But I'm coming for you.
Do it.
Not really. Who's probably like the most successful at the taking the garage sales into shorts? Would they be like Kevin, Dave, right? Because Carrie, I feel like films his own things just for shorts.
Yeah,
I don't think he takes like his garage sale videos and turns them into shorts, right?
Man, to be honest, Art's really good at it. Art has really good, and that's not a knock on Dave or Kevin. Devin, I almost said Devin. That would be like
it's not Devin.
Romance right there. No, I think Art. That's why I thought he belonged on that panel, is because it gave a great third person who has a totally different style. I mean, because he gets his I think it's like his brother-in-law or somebody to go with him.
Yeah. He gets 2 different camera. He gets a wide angle for YouTube, and then he gets the up and down. But
he's got like a Bluetooth mic, so it's cool because he has that third-person perspective. Like sometimes it's like, I mean, the person who's filming him might be like 20 or 30 feet away from him. You know, but you can still hear what he's talking about to the person at the yard.
It's like watching like a reality show. It's really cool. It's definitely a different perspective.
It's a really cool way to do it because it's like everybody else who does yard sale, it's pretty much GoPro here, which is great. But it's, I think when I first saw Art's content, I was like, dang, that's really cool. Like, it's more interesting to watch. But yeah, I think this stuff's great, man.
Yeah, that's why I figure I'm like, I gotta get it. You gotta get on this game. You
Yeah.
guys are killing it. Let me try it. I figured the more I do it, the faster. I know you. I know because you do the storytelling, so yours take a long time. But I know Carrie can knock one out in about 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I can, if that's all it takes, and I would say consistency is probably pretty important, right? So to get other people on the, hey, you're posting stuff. Why not? Why not do it?
Yeah, you're right.
So
I mean,
so what are you right now on? Your YouTube? You can just name all of them. What
YouTube,
platforms?
YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram.
And you post separately to Instagram and to Facebook. It's not like a connected account.
Now it's attached. You can
Okay.
like I basically upload it to Instagram, and then Instagram like copies it over to Facebook, which I love because then it takes out one less posting thing that I have to do. You know.
And do the views combine on that? Is that how it works, or
It's separate.
does
It's
Facebook
like
get separate views still?
Yeah, because what stinks, like what's weird is, you know, and you know this, but like Instagram, there's no monetization or anything.
Right?
Yeah.
Why?
But
Freaking
I
stingy.
really don't get it, and it's annoying too because it's the weirdest platform. Like, I mean, I say that I like Instagram for you guys, like for my reseller friends. I mean, that's why I'm on Instagram. It's not to reach the world; it's to see what you guys are up to. You know, share stuff with my my peers. You know, like my what am I trying? Like my coworkers. You know, that's kind of like your coworkers. Facebook, TikTok, YouTube Shorts. It's all about reaching just the world. I mean, it's like you just don't know who your videos are going to hit. So, but it's annoying because like just the other day, I mean, my Kobe series, the part 1, it's at like 100,000 views on Instagram. But there's nothing. No, not only is there no monetization, it's also like it's very hard to grow on that platform, like as far as followers too, which again, it doesn't really matter, but it's like I've been on Instagram for 4 years and I have like 7,000 followers, but I've had reels.
And you have like these viral videos?
Yeah, I've had reels get 1 million views on Instagram.
Wow.
So it's weird. It's like, I guess just from reels, people don't follow as often. Like
They just keep scrolling. Yeah.
On TikTok, it's like there's a plus sign. On YouTube, follow. But I think on Instagram, it doesn't really prompt the viewer to like follow. So, but again, I don't really care. It's Instagram. So,
yeah, and it's crazy, like the discrepancy in views. You can put the same video and it goes viral on one site and barely goes no views. Like dealing with Dalton's girlfriend, Style by Carly. Right? She had that one viral video about like that like Fenton bowl at Goodwill for like $45. They got like 8 million views on Facebook, which she got paid pretty well for. And then I looked at her TikTok, got 200 views on TikTok. 8 million to 200 is the same video. That's insanity.
It is. And, you know, I can tell you just from being around like different, like on TikTok, just seeing the ins and outs of it, that these platforms, for whether you like it or not, the short form platforms, they heat certain things up at certain times. So like I've always told people this. I was talking to my wife about this because she just started a business page for her bookkeeping on Facebook, which I think everyone should invest in Facebook because Facebook, it's cool. You can build a page and you can actually talk to people. You can post. You can like text posts, or you can do polls, or you can. There's multiple ways to communicate. I think it's a great platform, but I've so I have my business page now, but I started on my personal page. When I first started posting reels, it was on my personal page. And I had this happen then. And then when I opened my business page, I had it happen again. Within like the first 5 videos that you post, I would bet money on it. Facebook is going to make one of those videos go viral. It happened 2 times. And I've talked to many people who've had that happen. Like, it doesn't mean that your next 20 are going to go viral, because I did it. And then it was months before I had another viral one. Even on my business page, where like these were videos that were getting hundreds of thousands of views on TikTok, you know, they were not getting anything on Facebook, but the first couple did. And then all of a sudden, again, a couple months ago, I had one go crazy again and get about 9 million views, and it gave me another big bump. And really, since then, it's been more consistent. But anyways, what I'm getting at is these, you know, again, short form content is meant to reach the person who doesn't follow you. You know, so these platforms, they're gonna give you some success in that way to hook you. You know, I mean, like they're gonna let something get some significant reach to kind of show you like what's possible. You know, so it's good and bad. You know, because again, I think it doesn't really speak to. It can be discouraging because it doesn't mean that everything's going to go viral. Like if your content isn't a very good quality, or you don't improve over time, or you're not, condensing things down to like something that anybody can listen to, then
Yeah.
not everything's going to go viral. But then also some things go viral that you're like, what? How did that
Yeah.
go viral?
Well, that's the beauty about posting on all like these three or I guess four if you count Instagram sites. You
Yeah,
just multiply your chances, right?
yeah,
Like I keep saying, like what if Style by Carly just had a TikTok
yeah,
and she just
exactly.
posted it there, and then
Yeah,
she's like, "Wow, this video sucks. Only got 200
yeah,
views."
yeah,
But actually, I guess it doesn't suck because it got 8 million on Facebook. So I
yeah,
guess so. I'm like, it just makes the especially like that's why I say like that's the Gary V style of thought there. Like if you already put in the work in,
yeah.
that was another reason why I was like, okay, I gotta start doing shorts because you can just put the stuff everywhere. Because right now, I just with the long form, I've just been doing Facebook and YouTube. I've been posting on
Mhm.
both of those. But I was like, if I can do shorts and post them, what's the proper word for them? Shorts, TikToks, Reels. What's the general
Yeah.
word for that thing? Short form.
Yeah, a lot of times I catch myself saying like shorts or reels because most people know what that is. If you say like
Yeah,
TikToks, some people aren't like, I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know, it just depends. But yeah, shorts.
Right. So I figure like if you do that, and then I've already forgot, got asking about it. Dave showed me an app at FlipCon where it's like Restream or something where you just put it on the app and it automatically puts in all four things for you instead of you just
Wow.
going and doing it yourself. It just does that. So like if you could do
Yeah.
that, that's
Yeah, if you make
even better.
long form content and you want to like chop it up, yeah, there's some services out there that do it, and that's a good way to do it. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I thought I was gonna do that because there was some AI stuff where like it clips your long form to the best highlighted moments, and I
wow,
tried some of those for free. They weren't.
not very
They
good.
just picked the most random moments.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's the
this is
hard thing
not.
about that kind of stuff. For me, like my creative brain, I'm like, there's no way a robot's going to be able to do this. But if
Yeah.
you were pumping out tons of long form and you just wanted like another outlet to post some short stuff, then I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's a good,
That was going to be me. I was like, I don't have time for this. Let me just get AI to put something.
yeah,
But I tried, I think, two or three different ones, and I was like, all of these suck. Like
yeah,
it's just, it's just terrible.
yeah,
But it gave me ideas of like, okay,
that's true.
I can do this, and make it and
Yeah,
make a short out of it or whatever. So
yeah. AI
yes,
is
it
good
helped in
for,
that way.
for ideas and stuff like that. Prompts.
Mm. You have any plans with AI and short form in the future? Anything with ChatGPT telling
Yeah,
you what to go buy next or something like that?
I know. I mean, I've looked into it a little bit. I mean, I've watched content where people do that. I'm not real. I can be bad about not being like super progressive, I guess. Like sometimes things like that are almost they go over my head and I don't
Yeah,
get them, so then I don't really dive into it. Like I wish I was a little more um excited about that kind of stuff. But sometimes that kind of stuff bothers me because I'm like, I don't want another thing to think about. But then again, I'm like, but then it's gonna come and I'm gonna be the one guy who doesn't understand it and I'm gonna hate that I don't understand it. But no, I don't have any plans right now, but I mean I'm sure at some point.
yeah. I feel like Dave's the progressive one. He's all about the AIs. He has a channel
Yeah,
called the AI Kitchen for crying out loud. So he's all about that. So
yeah,
far, I've been just using AI for like YouTube titles or something
yeah.
like that. I've been doing like I give me 10 things. Dave says he uses it for like if he wants to comment somebody's video but didn't watch the video, he types the link to ChatGPT and says, "Write a witty comment
No
about
way,
this
that's great.
video."
Oh, that's funny, man. That is
it
really
just
funny.
it just copies and pastes that comment, so people
Oh
think he
my
watched
god,
the whole thing.
that cracks me up. That cracks me up.
That's such a Dave thing. That's such
That
a
is,
Dave
man.
thing
That's
to do,
great.
man.
That's great. Oh my god.
With TikTok and this whole government thing, is there like a legit fear of this thing being shut down, or you think it's just like all smoke and mirrors?
I wouldn't be the guy to ask. I mean, I know a couple months ago when it was like a big thing, but
Yeah,
uh,
it was a huge thing, but it seems like it's quieted down a lot, right?
yeah, from what I've gathered, it'd be I mean, if that would have gone through, that would have been the first time in history that like a social app that's built for just entertainment has ever been like banned from Americans, because that'd be a pretty, I don't know, outlandish thing to do. I mean,
Right?
it just seemed at the time I'm thinking, gosh, there's so many more extreme things that we could be like having congressional hearings about than TikTok. Like, it just seemed a little bit extreme, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not worried about it, but I mean, I'm sure there's people that are.
Didn't like a state ban it, like Montana or something like that?
I don't know.
That's what I heard, but I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Okay.
That actually did slow me down because I was like, "Whoa, what's the point of me posting on it here trying to get a following if it's about to get canceled?"
Yeah.
I
Well,
guess it was.
that's a good thought though, because even now I've shared this with some people, but I'm like, with short form content, we just don't know. It doesn't have the longevity yet, so we don't know if it's always going to be that a minute to a minute and a half is the sweet spot. Like, what if it gets a little longer and then it's 2-3 minutes? Well, then you have that just increases the time that it takes to do it. So I'm like, I try not to get too attached to
Yeah.
one thing, because you just never know. It's like YouTube has been around for 2 decades, so we kind of know like people are gonna there's an audience for it. With short form, I'm like, who knows? I mean, I feel like short form really grew by kids first, like it was teenagers
Yeah.
first that really liked it. So that says two things. One, what if the next wave of teenagers don't like it? Or two, what if now in 10 years, those teenagers are now 30-year-olds and vertical video is the only thing they know?
Oh,
Who
that's a good
knows?
point too.
I think it's two ways. Like, I mean, I think Carrie's been big about saying that, like, he thinks that people are going to watch 10-minute, 20-minute vertical videos.
Yeah,
You know,
I wouldn't be able to do it. I guess people. I know Art's thinking about bringing like, because I think it's available on TikTok now, like live video games. He
yeah,
wants to stream video games on TikTok, and like I
yeah,
was like, what?
yeah. Who knows, man? I mean,
Yeah.
it kind of makes sense. Our phones are vertical. I mean, who
Yeah,
knows? I mean,
I guess that's one way to look at it. I just remember like back in the day, like wine was a thing. Wine was huge, right? And then like
yeah,
that was like 8-second videos, I think, right? That's wine was, and again, it
yeah.
just I don't
That,
know,
yeah,
it just
like
died.
7. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and I was like, sheesh.
Everyone said that was that was the beginning of TikTok. Kind of like a lot of those people who became influencers on Vine. It translated well to TikTok.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
What, like the guy that I always talk about. I talked about him at FlipCon, but his name is Stevie. He's kind of the creator that sort of got me into this whole short form world. But he manages a couple of Facebook pages that are like meme Facebook pages where he creates memes and he creates like shareable content, like whether it's like a post that he writes or it's a picture that he makes a funny saying about. Like, I don't know, but that's how his mind works. So that's why short form content works for him, is because he knows how to hook people. Like memes are all about someone scrolling, oh wait, what's that say? Oh, that's funny. Like it needs to catch you like that, and that's what short form content's all about. So yeah, Vine was a good precursor to TikTok, because you only had 7 seconds to catch somebody's attention. Well, less than that, but you only had them for 7 seconds. So
Yeah, but I remember back in the day, I would be on that app for like hours, which is crazy to think about. That, which is like 7-second videos. How
yeah,
much I had to scroll, how much I had to watch to be there
there's some
legit for
funny stuff
hours.
in there. I know. I was yeah, I remember watching them too, man. There was some funny
Yeah,
skit type comedy stuff.
yeah. Because it's funny to be entertaining in 7 seconds, but people pulled it off, so
Yeah.
it's really good.
Yeah.
I think what you got figured out though is you're kind of doing long form, but in short form versions.
Yeah.
Like that Kobe series could legit just be one long form video from start to
Yeah.
end, right?
You're right.
But you're dividing it into 3, 4, 5 shorts
Yeah.
and getting the exposure that way, which is actually, I think, is pretty creative way to look at.
I know. I think in time I'll learn how to do both, because it's like my buddy Stevie, he'll post a long form video every now and then, and like he did one a couple weeks ago and it's got 500,000 views. I mean,
Wow.
one thing I've learned about short form, what I like about short form, is even if short form growth isn't your goal, learning to do it and catch people's attention and keep their attention, like retention, like to learn how to edit in a way that retains attention is so powerful, because then when you go to long form, you have all these skills that you've learned,
For sure.
like packing, like what you're saying, like packing a full thought and a full idea into 1 minute is so powerful, because it helped. Now when I go edit a long form video, which I've done twice since I kind of quit, honestly, it was so much like easier, because I was like, oh, I know how to like make every minute of this 8-minute video matter.
Yeah.
Whereas I just remember my older videos, like I didn't understand how to do that. I mean, it was a lot of dead time, a lot of like scrambling. So anyway, I think it's a good skill to develop.
So I'm gonna get a little glimpse in your mind and how it works. Do you just like sit there? Do you have like journaling time in your day when you think of ideas for the future, or do you just, you're driving, you're like Kobe's pond, got it, next?
Yeah, kind of both. I mean,
he's like, yeah, I'm just driving.
kind of both. I think on TikTok there's 2 different routes you can take. I think doing both of them is good. I think it's good for your mind, because it gives you kind of a break sometimes. There's content that's already viral material, like people are already doing it. Thrift store flipping is already a viral thing.
Yeah.
There's already an audience for it. You've got lovers and haters for it, which is good.
But by the way, thank you for the hate for thrift store videos. No one hated us until TikToks came around. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for that.
You're all welcome. But you have stuff like that where there's already kind of a stream for it, like certain side hustles, for example. Like you got the kind of the what am I trying to say? Like the lawn guys on TikTok who cut their grass, and it's like a real. Well, there's like
I watch that all the time.
Yeah, there's like 10 different guys that do it, right?
Yeah.
And they all do the same thing for the most part. They might have a slightly different angle, but what's good about that is there's already an audience for it. It's already a viral idea, so you don't have to put lots of thought into the idea. Then you just put more thought into the delivery. But then there's unique ideas, which I think, that's where for me it gets fun. Like the Kobe series was my own thought. Like.
Well, yeah, I haven't seen anybody else throw shoes in the pond before.
Like,
that's
whether
for
that
sure.
series like fully makes sense to everybody or not, it was my thought. Like I'm proud of it, because dang, like I was just thinking one day, like, man, I've always wanted a pair of Kobe's. I know they're expensive. Well, I have this side hustle. I can merge the 2 worlds. So I think that's cool. My buddy Stevie did a series, like his most viral thing ever was he bought the cheapest Rolex on eBay. And then he did a whole series where he bought it, he got it in, he didn't know if it was authentic or not. He took it to a Rolex store, got 2 different opinions, got the footage of the dialogue with the people at the store, like saying, like one of them was like, yeah, that's definitely not real. And the other one was like, I think that's real, and anyways, that series went crazy. I mean, just crazy. So, that was kind of his idea, like in a sense, like, I mean, he's done a couple series now where he's like bought the cheapest blank on eBay. Well, if I wanted to make a video on that same thing, I could. And to me, it wouldn't be stealing his material. I just pick a different item. But it's like,
for sure,
that's a viral thought. To buy the cheapest, whatever it is, Rolex, you think expensive, but I'm going to buy the cheapest one. Well, that messes with people's brains. So it's a viral thought. It's a viral idea. So yeah, I think sometimes
I've seen people do the same thing with like restaurants. Going to the most expensive burger restaurant in town, going to the cheapest burger in town, and see the difference. I think Mr. Beast is really good at that right now. He goes $1. What's the last one? Like a $1 vacation, like a $1,000 vacation, or like that. So like that concept is definitely like a viral concept for sure.
Yeah.
I could see how that would work.
Yeah. And it's fun. It's fun to kind of play off of different, even with thrift store videos now. It's like, I've made so many thrift store videos. That anymore, it's like if I'm gonna make one, I want it to be so unique, and that's why my most recent like really viral thrift store video was I found 11 boxes of yarn, and
I can't believe that went viral, man.
And that video is still getting views every day, and people hate me for it. Like, why wouldn't you just leave that yarn for some old lady that wanted it? I'm like, so it was I didn't think about how crazy that was at the time. I was just like, I'm buying yarn from a thrift store. But the fact that it was like 11 boxes, and I'm gonna go resell them all instead of like letting some old lady have her knitting, time. Like people blasted me for it, but
Yeah. That one go viral everywhere, the yarn one, or just
it really
or
did. That's what's crazy. I usually know a video is like really viral if it hits on every platform, but yeah, I did. It went viral on, I think on YouTube it has a couple million, on Facebook
Sheesh.
it has 3 million, I think, and on YouTube or TikTok it's got 600,000 or something. So crazy.
Dang.
Yeah. I wish I could do that every time, Paul. That's the goal.
What don't we all? Dude, are you at that point now where you're like, this is gonna go viral when you make a video, or do they still surprise you, or you sometimes shocked like, whoa, thought that one's gonna
Yeah,
be good and it wasn't?
all three of those. So sometimes I'm
Okay.
like, man, I really think this is going to hit. And then sometimes I think something's going to hit and it really doesn't, and then other times I'm like completely like the yarn video. I was like, oh, this is going to be a pretty good video. I had no clue it would get millions of views. I mean, there's a big difference between like with short form, like hitting like 50,000. I can make kind of like an average video and it could hit 50,000. But like if it goes into the millions, that's like a different story.
Oh, for
And
sure.
that doesn't happen often. I've had maybe 10 videos hit a million. So yeah, I was surprised when that one
Yeah,
hit.
you definitely think the yard was gonna be 1 to 10, right?
Yeah, and also, I thought the Kobe series was going to go a little more viral than it did. It's done well. Like it's done pretty well. And I think that the final part will kind of bump the other ones. So like one thing I've noticed about short form series, when you do a series, is sometimes because the algorithm is so strong with short form content. Like that's why I always tell people, I'm like, don't worry about hashtags, don't worry about that stuff. Like it can help a
Oh,
little bit.
so I shouldn't worry about hashtags. Okay, good to
I
know.
mean, you can do a couple. I just tell people like, don't do 10 hashtags. Like you're gonna give the algorithm way too much to think about. Like just if it's a thrifting video, just be like, it's just hashtag thrifting. Like don't make it complicated. But the algorithm is
Are
so,
titles important in that?
I think that they're important. I always, one thing I learned from Stevie was like the most like whatever your video is about, just don't mess with people. Like just tell them what the video is about right at the beginning, and then make that your title also. Relatively, like it could be a little different, but like if you bought 11 boxes of yarn today, like just say today at Goodwill I bought 11 boxes of yarn. I mean, I worded it differently than that, but generally speaking, I kind of just here's what the video is about. But yeah, I wouldn't get too wrapped up in it. But about a series, I've noticed this. This happened several times. Like part one, it's like it reached quite a few people. But then when I posted part two, I woke up the next day to about 100,000 more views on part one.
Oh wow.
In about a 10-hour span. Because I think what happens is the algorithm, because I've noticed this when I'll sometimes discover a video on TikTok, like just me watching TikTok. And what'll happen is the video I see is part one to some 5-part series. And I'm like, well, why didn't it, like this was a month old? Why didn't it show me part 5? It's because the algorithm knows, like, in order for this to make sense, it's going to pull you back to the first one. So, I think that's what's cool about a series is sometimes you don't really know how it's going to perform until later, and then all the platforms are different. Like TikTok videos live and die quickly. YouTube Shorts, sometimes, most of the time, a video will take sometimes 2 or 3 weeks to take off, and then it'll soar for a long time. I have like some of my top 10 videos right now on YouTube, like 3 or 4 of them are like 4 months old, and they still get like 500 to 1,000 views an hour. It's really interesting. Like, TikTok doesn't do that.
That carpet cleaner, that one's pretty old, right? And that one's
And
probably still performing pretty well, right? Yeah.
it's still in my top 2. Like every hour, it gets like 500 to 1,000 views. It's the craziest thing.
Dang.
But on TikTok, that doesn't happen. On TikTok, it just dies. Like it's real hot for about a week, and then it dies.
So is that why reposting is a thing? Is that why people repost all the time?
Maybe I have never reposted yet, and I'm not.
Oh, really?
Not because I'm against it. Like I just didn't understand it for like monetization. I didn't understand if you could, because I know I did something like that on Facebook one time and it like banned the video. So I didn't know
I
how
used
it worked.
to do it on Instagram when they had those monthly bonuses, and then the video didn't count again for the next month. So I just reposted the same video from the month before, so it would count again for the bonus because they weren't counting it.
Yeah.
Right? But it's crazy. Like I had one for 1 month that got like 350,000 views, which for me is a lot on Instagram. Then I reposted it and it got like 500. So it was just the exact video. So I was like, I don't know. But Dave says he could have like 10 videos that are huge, and he reposted 10 times and becomes huge every single time again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've never reposted yet. I'm starting to think about, like with the Louis Vuitton series, I'm like, could I take that? I wouldn't just repost it for me. I'd probably film something extra at the beginning or at the end. I don't know. Because those videos weren't a minute long. They were like 30 seconds long, 40 seconds.
yeah.
So, but the idea was good enough. And shoot, when I made those videos, I had 10,000 followers. So it's like now it'd be cool to let all these people see it that maybe didn't see it then. I just gotta mess with that. I don't know how to do that.
How would reposting even work? Do you have like can you download your videos from somewhere?
Yeah,
I know on YouTube I can, but I don't know if I can do it on Instagram or Facebook. I don't know if that's available.
you can on TikTok. Sometimes it loses some of the quality, but yeah, you can download it.
But then you get the little TikTok logo, so you can't really repost that one anywhere else, right? Or is that a myth?
You can download it and you can put it in this other kind of website that like takes the watermark off. But again, you kind of sometimes you lose quality and it looks like the color is off or something, or like it lags audio or something.
Is that watermark thing true? Like I heard if you post a video with a watermark onto YouTube, it won't get monetized.
Yeah, that's 100% true. Not only will it not get monetized, like it'll those other platforms will like shut it down too, like the reach. I mean, you could put a viral video and they'll shut it down.
They don't want to get, I guess, advertisements to TikTok on YouTube. 100%. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting. So here's my video from yesterday. I titled it "Watch Me Make $300 at 1 yard sale." Is that good? And it's about me making $300 at 1 yard sale. Okay, good.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm a pro.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's so many different ways you can do I mean, I'm fascinated by the hook and the story and the conclusion. I mean, there's a whole science behind it, man. It's just like storytelling has been around since the beginning of mankind, you know.
Yeah.
That's why if you can learn to tell a story, then that's why I'm okay if TikTok changes, or like maybe people like 2-minute videos instead of 1-minute videos. Cause like, well, okay, then I just extend and build detail out a little bit more in the story. But yeah, there's so many ways you can do it, man. The hook and like, you know, positioning. Yeah. I mean, shoot, I've seen people like cooking videos, for example. This is like, this always blows my mind, but cooking videos, like the real dudes who are doing it and making real viral content, they will show the finished product at the beginning
first.
And then go back, the reason why is because
it attaches it perfectly to the end of the video again. So
because the reason why is they know that their viewer doesn't really. You're not watching the video necessarily to see the final result. You're watching the video to find out how to do it. So the main part of the video, or the main story of the video, is like the steps and the ingredients. But what's going to pull them in the quickest is to go, oh, that's what I'm making. If you just start with a lump of dough, well, like 50 different things look like a lump of dough when you start. But if you show like the finished product at the very beginning, then they go, oh, dang, like that looks really good. How can I do that? And then here's the steps. So
have you tried doing that, something similar to yours, where you put the finale at the very beginning?
I have. I've messed with like teasing. I've never really I don't know if I've done it fully yet, but I've teased, you know, like with the yarn video, for example. Like I was like, I don't know if I said the word yarn, but like I showed the 11 boxes that were like in a stack. And then I went over and I like pulled the box like this, and then you could almost like the trained eye that knows yarn probably knew it was yarn, but a lot of people probably didn't. And then I just boom, I switched and then built up the story, and then I went back to that at the end. And the retention on that video was crazy, like 80, like I don't remember how many views, but into the millions, and like the retention was like 80%, which is crazy. That's a really hard to do on short form. I've only done that a couple times. So yeah, kind of teasing at the beginning and then like, you know, going back and then sort of circling back around. It's a pretty good method for sure.
How important are covers on these things? Like compared to like thumbnails for YouTube videos, they're very important. Are covers not that important on shorts, you think? Or because people are just scrolling, right? Like they don't really see the covers.
Yeah, and like YouTube, Facebook, YouTube, you can't even choose it. You know, it just like auto does it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I think YouTube now you can if you're on your like desktop, but Yeah, I mean, no one goes to your page really. That's why I always tell people, I'm like, don't worry about, especially for TikTok, like don't worry about introducing yourself every time. Like people, the likelihood of people like clicking on your page and going through it's just not. They're gonna scroll. Like they're gonna, so don't
That's what
worry about
that's what
everything.
the
Yeah,
app is for, right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
just that's why I always say dumb it down to like reach anybody. If your goal is reach and your goal is to go viral, then even if you're making a thrift store video, like don't sound so reseller at the beginning. Because if you sound like a professional reseller right at the beginning, then people who don't know that world or they don't like it, they're immediately out because they
Yeah.
don't get what you're saying. It's like, dumb it down a little bit to where maybe it's just like a thrifting video, but maybe like you're just someone who likes thrift stores. You're not a reseller. Now, once you get into the video, yeah, obviously, like it's going to become more obvious. Like, oh, this is worth this. Okay, this person's a reseller. But like, I don't know. Sometimes to grab people, it's like just dumb it down just like a little bit,
That
or
makes sense.
make it more broad.
And I've noticed how the algo works. Like if I'm scrolling through Reel, for example, if I watch somebody's Reel all the way through, the next day I'm scrolling, I'm going to get another Reel from that person.
Exact bingo,
That's how I've seen it. So
bingo.
I figure like that's probably the average view duration probably is very important for that because
Hmm.
or if I just see something for 2 seconds and I skip through it, I don't think I ever see that person again. Or if I do, it must be another like viral video or something.
Yeah,
So, but yeah, I
yeah,
noticed that with like I had this one guy that it's really stupid. He does like mixed drinks. He does like an
yeah,
alcohol with like a chaser. He mixes it and then uses something stupid to mix with. And I just watch two of those, and every single day now I get another one, and I always watch it. I don't know why. I always watch it.
yeah.
Or I
No.
I had the guy with the. Did you hear about the guy who does did the pasta videos where he did the pasta but the egg yolk doubled every day?
Oh yeah, I watched those.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I had no intentions of ever following that guy ever,
that's
but I got
crazy,
hooked. I got hooked. I was like, oh,
dude.
I
Wasn't
want
that
to.
such a genius idea? Because it's like,
It's so simple,
yeah,
but it's
it's like
so genius.
dumb, but it's like every day you're like, dang, this is crazy. It's
Yeah,
just
because at the beginning it's like okay, two yolks, big deal, but then
yeah,
it becomes. I think the last one was like 10,000.
yeah,
Like Mr. Beast flew over to help him out with it and stuff. I was like, what the heck?
yeah. That's
Yeah,
so cool, man. Gosh,
yeah.
people are crazy, man.
Yeah, I want to know like because I don't know what he did before that, but like I found that one like on day like 6 or 7, and I had to
Wow.
like scroll through his thing to find day one, and it was so hard to find it just because he had so many other kind of type of videos out there. So it was like I finally
Yeah.
found day one, and then just watched them all the way through. But yeah,
Amazing.
but,
Gosh,
uh,
that's
I want to know if he was like big before that or just blew up with that. But I think he has like 20 million or something on YouTube right now. So yeah.
gosh. Oh man, that's like a jackpot, man. If you can, yeah, sometimes like just one idea can just change your whole.
And he probably got like so many like deals with like pasta and like
Oh my,
eggs and flour. He probably got all these different deals coming out too. So
yeah, you can build a
yeah,
career off that because now he could go do that with different. Now let's say it's not eggs, another ingredient or another food like
yeah.
double it every day or whatever. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I had Thrift Beast on here. I don't know if you know he's an older YouTuber
Okay.
from Canada. He likes to bake, and he likes to make meringue, which uses egg whites. And
Oh wow.
I'm like you should do when to make meringue, but the egg whites done every day.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
If the pasta worked, this is
You'll
just
see you'll
whites.
see these ideas like this. They'll one person will come up with it and execute, and then boom, all of a sudden 10 different people. It's like the I think I just saw this like a couple weeks ago, but the fastest growing, most viral accounts right now on TikTok um, are these people who they're at the top of a staircase and they roll something off of it, and then it breaks, and then they
Yep.
do okay. They were like, I saw someone break down like what the monetization would be for that because like it was showing like how many views they had. Like they started an account and from the first video they were already getting
It just goes viral.
I mean when I say millions, I mean like I think one of them had like 300 and something million views. Well, then I mean like the next 6 videos had millions of views. They were like, this guy just made like a few $1 million this month.
I need a staircase, man. That's what I'm
I know,
starting.
right? And that's
I
what I'm
need
saying.
to
And I'm like, well, then there's like 10 guys now doing that, and they're
I
all
need
going
to
viral.
find a staircase.
It's crazy. I think, gosh, it's crazy. I think with short form, it's more of a flash in the frying pan type of. I don't know if that's the right saying, but it's it's sort of a strike while the iron's hot type of thing. Sometimes, like
Yeah.
sometimes things aren't going to work forever, but the idea can you can just sometimes change it a little bit. Like if a day comes where that particular angle at that idea isn't working anymore, like you can sometimes just take that and shift it a little bit and it'll work again.
Mm,
It's that I think that's why it's important again to just learn the skill of thinking about like even in my niche, like what can appeal to a very
yeah.
broad audience,
Uh, I think I'm going back to little Josh real quick. I think he mastered that really well. You can see just from his grand scheme of
Yeah.
doing garage, like you said, you start off with. I found him through the Amazon bin stuff, and
Yeah.
then he went to garage sales. Then he went to flea
Flea
markets. Now,
market,
now, now he's doing this whole house flip kind of thing, and
yep.
he even dabbled into storage units a couple times last year. I saw that. So, like you can see, like he's probably one of the top by like the top 1% of reseller content,
Yeah.
and he's still adapting every single day, right? So
Yeah.
like the people that come to me and say, hey man, my YouTube isn't growing, blah blah blah, I look at their content, it's the same exact content they put out a year ago,
It is.
like same style,
Yeah.
same quality, nothing changed. Just like
Yeah.
that. And I'm like, why would YouTube push you out? Like if they weren't pushing out a
Yep.
year ago, why are they going to push you out now?
Yep.
Yeah, so I definitely understand about the adapting, adapt
Yeah.
or die, right? Isn't that the phrase?
100%. I think that's like my favorite thing that I learned going through Stevie's course and and by the way, for you guys listening, his name is Stevie Sells on social media. Like if you're just interested in his stuff, because it's kind of where I learned a lot of my stuff. But one of my favorite things I learned from him was just like going viral is not an accident.
This is the guy.
Yeah, like going viral is not an accident. Like it's not that.
He does the side hustle things, right? Different side
Right.
hustles, and he ranks them at the end.
Yeah, he does a
Yeah,
lot of different
okay.
stuff. Yeah, so it's like it's a skill to be developed. Like it's at the end of the day, it's psychology. It's learning what like people want to watch, what piques interest, what holds people's attention. Like, so yeah, it's exactly what you're saying. It's like, well, geez, if you're doing the same thing that all these other people are doing and you're not even doing it as well as they are, why would you be getting views? Like,
Yeah.
and I had to basically come to that reality. Like for me with my long form journey, I got in via Harry Tornado. My videos were basically the same concept as his, but he was already in. He already had the
Yeah.
audience, and he was better at it than me. And so I just remember I was monetized on YouTube and I was making about $50 a month. And I remember Stevie was like, dude, if I were you, because he had seen a couple of my videos. I think he had seen the Louis Vuitton series and stuff. He was like, if I were you, he's like, you know, you just don't sound that happy doing long form. Like I would quit just for the sake of your happiness. Like just put all your eggs in this basket. Like just start developing short form content and just get better at it. And and I just remember being like, oh, but I can't give up this. Like it took so long to get monetized. I was like, I can't give up this $50 a month. And that sounds so silly now because it's like, yeah, but like I was having to do a lot of editing, a lot of hours of work for $50 a month. Like that's silly, And of course it's much better now, but it's just I don't know, it's just funny. I had to basically stop lying to myself. Like, dude, it's not that I suck at it. It's just YouTube content in general is hard. It's like anything else. It's hard. Like if it's hard, it takes a long time to learn it. Then it takes a long time to find your own like identity with it. I
Yeah.
was just doing what everyone else was doing, which kind of works for in one sense, but there comes a time where it's like if it's not your own though, or you don't have your own like identity with it, you're not going to enjoy it because it's not going to feel like So
Mm,
at some point
that's
you
a
got to kind of switch gears.
really good point.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Katie about this in the last podcast. Is there
Yeah.
is literally thousands of YouTube channels out there, of reselling YouTube channels,
Yeah.
probably tens of thousands if
Yeah.
you break down and count them all. And like, so the people that actually want to watch, like, first of all, the niche itself isn't that big.
Yeah.
The reselling
Yeah.
niche
You're
compared
right.
to like the van life or the travel or the food
Yeah.
niche, it's super small. So for
Mhm.
somebody to discover that niche and then discover you in that niche, that's hard.
Yeah.
So you gotta definitely stand out.
Yeah.
and be your own thing,
And if
or
you're
no one's ever gonna find you.
Yeah, and if you're a content creator, you know, also like just longevity is important because I went through right before FlipCon, I was just like one night I was just curious. I was like, I want to go through like just my people who I've subscribed to on YouTube over the years and like just look. I was like, dang, like 80% of these people have quit.
Yeah.
Like so many of them have quit, you know.
Hmm.
So it's like sometimes it's just if you just keep going and you don't quit, like eventually, you know, you're kind of one of the only ones still doing it or whatever. Like sometimes you can build your audience that way. Like I think a slow grow for a long time is definitely like more realistic than like blowing up in a span of like
Yeah.
1 year, you know.
But you have to really enjoy what you're doing for that
Yeah,
to happen, because
yeah,
there are a lot of people that don't make anything, and then
yeah,
people, there's a misconception of what once you get monetized, that's it. You're buying yachts, you're buying Rolexes, but the reality is you're in this boat of $50 a month for a while after that.
yeah.
So, like
I
I
did that for
say,
like
like
6 months, man. I was like, "God, I can't." I mean, a couple months were better, but it would average out to about $50 a month. And I was like,
yeah,
I just don't have any. I don't know what else to do. Like I'm doing
it,
all I know to do.
it,
You
it
know?
becomes a very expensive hobby after a while,
Yeah,
especially if you're putting hours of editing and all this stuff, and then not a yeah. So like
yeah,
I've been in that boat. I definitely understand. Like right
yeah,
now, I'm at the point where, thankfully, and hopefully continues to say, is like YouTube is paying all my bills.
yeah,
I say right away, like YouTube pays all. Like I'm
yeah.
still a reseller, I still do that, but YouTube pays all my bills.
Good.
And but it took me a long, took me 2.5. No, 2 years and 2 months to get monetized, first of all. So that's
Wow.
two
Yeah,
years of putting out stuff with
yeah,
making zero. And then it was about half a year of that $50 a month
yeah,
before I started seeing some real money come through. So it was like
yeah,
pretty much 3 years of just, oh, okay. Another video, another 100 views. Great.
yeah.
Oh,
And
is
you know,
there
like, and when you know you can go make money, you know, reselling or whatever, it's hard.
exactly.
Sometimes it's hard to like discipline yourself to go edit a video. Like, well, geez, I'm doing this
Yeah.
for free. Not only that,
Because
if you're not
yeah.
making much money, that means you're not getting much views, which means you're not getting that much
Hmm.
feedback. And then when you don't get feedback, it's the other thing. This is dangerous about short form, and it's great. It's again, it depends on who you are. Like if mental health is a thing for you, like then this may not really register. But like you can get a lot of exposure with short form and get a lot of feedback, which can, you know, it's like a dopamine hit. It can make you feel
Yeah.
good, which again in the right hands that can be great because it can really encourage you. Like for me it's just really like, gosh, thank you, like I'm glad I'm getting feedback, it helps me. But like for some people it can also be like, geez, I mean all these hate comments and all this stuff, it really tears me down. um
Mm.
but on YouTube long form, it was for so long, it's like you're getting like 14 comments every video, you're not getting much feedback, and it's like the people that love it.
Yeah, the 14 are your best friends who say,
Yeah,
great video. Can't wait
yeah,
for the next one. You're
yeah.
like,
So
oh,
you're not getting,
sweet.
yeah, you're not getting any legitimate feedback. You don't know if
Yeah.
it's even good or not, and that can be pretty lonely, you know, for sure. So
No, that's a really good point, because I don't know if you know who Kayla is, a homeschooling picker, like a huge,
I
huge
know of
YouTube
her.
channel.
Yeah,
Yeah, like me and her became friends when I think I had like 800 subscribers.
yeah,
So I was, and thankfully she didn't care about that sub now. She just cared about being my friend.
yeah.
And I think she had like maybe 10,000 at that point, which like I think she's over 100,000 now. So she blew up since then.
Yeah.
But I was like, hey, and she was around for way, like she was around. She made her channel after I made mine. So I'm like, how did
Okay.
you blow up so fast? So that, and she was like, hey, I'm going to tell you some stuff. It might not be nice to hear, but if you really want to know, blah blah.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And she was, like I said, the feedback was a lot of stuff was like, she was like, your camera angle sucks. Your
Yeah.
music is too loud. This is this like, and I sat there, took it. I was like, okay, you're right. You know, because a lot of people are like, oh, what are you? This is my video you're talking about. This is my
Yeah.
baby. But I was like, no, actually, you're right. The camera angle is bad. Okay, this is blah blah blah. And I did little changes here and there, and then I saw like my video from a year ago to there. I was like, whoa. I'm
Yeah.
like, no wonder I was getting no views then. Because
Yeah. Exactly.
that video was terrible. So that's a huge. I didn't think about that, but that feedback is a huge,
It is.
huge like trampoline you can jump off and grow for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah, it can either be like encouraging or it can, you know, it can also mess with people. I mean, I totally understand that. And you know, you
Yeah.
really, if you get into short form, like TikTok, for example, it's a very comment like commenting app. Like if you have a video go viral, it's gonna come with a lot of comments, and it's gonna
Yeah,
come
and
with like
people gonna argue in the comments and stuff, right?
for
Too, right?
sure.
Yeah.
So it's like it can be a little bit of a shocker. I mean, I remember when I first got on there, I was like, well, this is way different because like on YouTube, it's like 95% of it's like positive, like a great video, thanks for this, whatever. Like you don't get that many haters. But yeah, short form apps,
Yeah.
you're just getting all the mamas, grandmas are coming
Yeah.
out cursing at you.
Yeah, I get still a decent amount of haters on my video. I probably block 3 people a day. That's my
Yeah,
average now.
you probably
And
get more
but
reach than we did.
those don't really bother me. What
Yeah,
bothers me is the people telling me how I should be living my life based on there, and be like, "Hey, you shouldn't do this for your storage. You should do this," or "Hey, you shouldn't do this." Blah blah. And I know they're trying to help. That's the frustrating part. I know they're trying to help,
yeah,
but like I had like one video where like I talk about my storage and how I organize things, and not asking for advice. I was like, "Hey, I'm just doing this way." I got probably 50 comments of how I'm doing it wrong and how I should do it, and all those comments were different. so,
yeah,
I, so I'm like, if I listened to you guys, I would get nothing done because every
yeah,
single one, you guys think you have the perfect storage system, and you
yeah,
guys are all different. So like,
yeah,
that's the
exactly.
thing that frustrates me the most. The negative comments, I'm just like, oh, these guys are just trolls. I already have a guy. His name was like Varga something. He's already on Varga 72. I blocked him 70 plus times, and he keeps
Good
making
Lord,
new accounts.
that's crazy. That's dedication. That's
and,
not.
and he doesn't just say blah blah. He like writes essays when he comments, and then you can tell it's not a copy and paste. It's a different essay, and like, oh, it's Varga again. I time to black. So he's a committed
Golly,
hater. Shout out to you,
that
Varga.
is.
You're probably watching.
He
and,
probably- he's gonna
and he
probably-
goes on like other channels. Like he went on Ray's channel of National Flippers and commented, "You shouldn't be friends with Paul. Paul is blah 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 blah." I
Oh
wrote a
my
whole
god,
essay there. I saw
crazy.
him on Kayla's channel, on Kevin's channel, on Dave's channel. I'm like, this guy is
Wow,
obsessed.
that's a very dedicated. That's funny.
Yeah, well, I say it like hate watchers are good because they watch longer than the people that subscribe to you.
No doubt.
Hate watchers watch sometimes longer than people that like you because they're trying to find the one thing in your video to hate about. It might take a couple
Yeah,
of views to find it.
that's great.
So before I let you go, I always have a segment in here where you have to rank a couple things for me. I don't know
All right.
if it where I give you a category, you have to rank things from 1 to 5 blindly, so you don't know what comes next.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So I gave you a pretty broad one today. You have animals.
Is one the best?
One's best, five's the worst.
Gotcha.
Okay. So your category is animals.
All right.
I'm going to give you 5 animals, rank them 1 to 5. All right. You don't know what comes next. I'm not going to give you some like crazy animals you never heard of. These are all pretty popular animals. All right. So I'm going to start off with an elephant.
4.
4. Why do you hate elephants so much?
Well, I don't think I hate them. I've actually I've been to Africa, and in that was the first time I ever saw an African elephant, because like a lot of the circus ones in like America are Indian elephants.
Yeah.
They're big, but they're like bigger than a horse. That's it, like a little bit bigger than a horse.
Oh, really?
Dude, an African elephant. I'm 6 foot tall. Like I walked under it.
Dang.
Yeah, like an Indian elephant, it's like, okay, this is a big animal. An African elephant, like one of its legs is way bigger than me.
It's like a 3-story building.
It's huge, and I mean, literally, you could like hug its leg and like not get your arms all the way around it. They're way bigger than Indian elephants. But
Wow.
no, it's I just think that there's gonna be some better animals. It's not.
Okay.
I think elephants are cool. So
No, I don't know. There'll be better elephants. I thought elephant was number 1. No, I'm kidding. I'll hit you with a sloth next.
sloth, that's a pretty cool animal. I think I'll go 2.
Sloth is like my spirit animal, man. All you do is just eat and sleep. Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the like what else is life about? Like,
I would like to
I,
see one in person.
yeah, I feel like sloths are underrated, man. People don't give the sloths enough attention, man.
Yeah,
They
no
think they're
doubt.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, sloth is 2. I'll hit you with a gorilla next.
Ooh, for me, that's gonna be number 1 because I loved Tarzan as a kid.
Oh, really? Okay.
Tarzan, like
Yeah.
my whole bedroom was like Tarzan wallpaper, comforter. I loved that movie. So yeah, I've always liked monkeys and gorillas and stuff.
Okay, so you have gorilla 1, sloth 2, 3's blank, Elephant's 4, five's blank, right? Next you got a cheetah.
3.
3. Okay,
Yeah.
so you left the bottom slot for the end. Okay, all right.
Cheetahs are cool to watch. They're so fast. So
I feel like that's all they got though. Like they're cool, but that's all
you
they got is
climb trees
speed,
pretty.
right?
I mean, it's cool to see them like go from like 70-mile-per-hour running to like up a tree. I mean,
Oh, they can do that too.
I
Oh,
think they can
yeah.
pretty much
Yeah.
scale a tree. Maybe I
So,
made
so
that up.
I really don't know how the geographics of this thing work. Were cheetahs in Africa too? Is that where cheetahs live? Or
I think so.
like,
I think they're
I
on like
just yeah.
the
But,
Sahara.
my geography is based on Lion King, and they were all together. So I'm like,
Yeah,
they got,
exactly. Yeah. All those animals are all there, wherever that is.
like they gotta be all in one area.
All
They were,
somewhere around Pride Rock.
yeah. Like just Google Pride Rock, go there. You'll see hyenas, you'll see elephants,
Exactly.
you'll see cheetahs.
Exactly.
You don't realize they're like, because like I want to like go to Africa. It's on my bucket list, but I'm like, wait, I have to go to different countries to see these animals. I thought it was just like you go to one safari and you see all of them,
I
but
know.
that's
In
not how it
South
works.
Africa, we went to I mean, they called it a safari, but it was kind of like a glorified zoo. Like it was way bigger than a zoo. Like for example, the lions were like on acres of land, but it was still enclosed. But it was like
Oh,
you
okay.
couldn't see the boundaries, so they weren't technically wild, but they were pretty wild. But it was cool. We saw a lot of those animals, but
Is that the one you like you drive through like on a little Jeep Wrangler thing?
we
Hey.
were like, yeah, it was like this big like vehicle that had like a bed with like a canopy. They could fit like 10 people in that thing. It was cool.
Oh, dang. And that's South Africa. Yeah.
South Africa.
How much those things cost?
The trip?
Yeah, yeah. Is it expensive?
It was kind of like I probably got a good deal, but I want to say like $3,000.
Dang.
It was 10 years ago, so it's probably gone up.
That's a couple Louis Vuitton videos right there, man.
Dude, exactly right.
I see. You have 5 left, right? So this is the one you hate the most. Koala. Why do you
That's a
hate
good fifth
koalas?
one. I would not have said that was
Whoa,
any.
you don't like koalas? The cute little
I mean,
koalas.
I've just never had much of an affinity towards them, so I'm good with putting them
Dang.
number 5.
Wow, man. You hear it here first. Wyatt hates koalas, guys. Wyatt
Koalas,
hates koalas and
long video.
elephants. Coming to his next TikTok. Why I hate koalas.
If I
He
ever
has
made a
5 reasons.
long form video about koalas, you would know that something was wrong.
Like his account got hacked. If he's doing long
Why?
form, and if Commonwealth Flipper is in it, if Commonwealth Flipper is in it, and it's a long form video, and there's a koala involved. Why I got hacked.
No doubt.
That's 3 biggest
His
pet
super
peeves.
fans walk up to me and they ask me for autographs. Something's wrong.
Yeah, I still think he staged that. I think he got a bunch of actors and said,
Me
"Hey,
and
I'm
Mel,
going to be at this yard sale at 7 a.m. Be there."
dude, me and Mel just kept looking at each other like, again. Like, it was like, I kind of thought it was a joke too. I'm like, I kept thinking, are these people from FlipCon and I just haven't met them yet? Like, who are these people? We're in the middle of like random spot in Charlotte. Like, Kevin has so many super fans. It's weird.
Well, I feel like his random spots, inspired by like one of his number one demographic, is like just random spots around some cities. So,
True.
yeah. But I remember I was with him like last year, maybe even 2 years ago now. It was also a random city. Like we're in Gastonia, North Carolina, to some random city. We were driving from South Carolina back to his house in Virginia. And we just some random spot. 3 people still knew who he was.
Because he's got so many different big platforms, like his Facebook pages are freaking huge, and YouTube, and
it was. I was like, oh, okay, this must be nice.
yeah.
I'm like, I get recognized now and then, but not like to that level. Definitely not.
Yeah, for sure.
So before we sign off, this is where you get a chance to tell people, guess where they can find you.
Okay.
Give me a couple platforms and what to expect.
Well, if you just want to watch my content, I would say TikTok is probably my the best place to do that. Instagram I like because again, if you're into reselling and or content, like that's the best place to communicate with me at. So Rewilded Reselling on all the platforms. Some of them have maybe like an underscore, but if you type Rewilded Reselling, you should be able to find it. So yeah, I would say TikTok or Instagram.
I'll link your TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube down below, so they can
Cool.
go and give you a follow.
Sweet. Yeah, and y'all got to check out the finale of the Kobe series. Hopefully, by the time this airs, that'll
Yeah,
be good. I don't know, man. I really don't know.
I know. You
Probably
got
this
3 days.
week,
You
Sunday.
got 3 days.
We're going out of town this weekend, so
And
even if
this
we get
airs at
done,
12 p.m. on Sunday too, so you don't get the whole day Sunday either. So I don't know.
yeah, it probably won't be
Maybe
out.
the following day, maybe on Monday,
Yeah.
he'll have the shoes, and you'll see if they're destroyed or not.
Yeah. And what's cool is because of the Kobe 6 Grinches, I'm thinking maybe the value in them will go up a little bit as Christmas time comes.
Oh,
So
okay.
I may wear them for a couple of months because they're $500 shoes. Like at the end of the day, I don't need a pair of $500 shoes. Yeah, and I got them for a pretty good deal because I could probably sell them for 600. They had the
Yeah.
box too. So, but anyways, if I can sell them for like 700 by the time Christmas comes, I may be selling them. So,
Another thing I didn't think about, dude, are you not scared that somebody that's watching you is close to you and knows where this pond is
dude,
and just gonna go and just find them?
there's no doubt if somebody wanted to find it, it wouldn't be that hard. I'll be honest. Like, if
Oh, really?
yeah, I mean, not. Well, it'd be hard to. I mean, you just would have to know how to like look at details and videos and like put the pieces together. You have to be pretty smart because I don't like show the front of my house or anything, but you know how it is, man.
I'm heading out tomorrow. I'm gonna drive to South Carolina. This is gonna be my new series, Fighting Wyatt.
Yeah, they have to. You know, I'm not gonna say too much, but in case you're whatever your guy Varth or Vard or whatever is watching.
Vars.
He'll be the one. He's like, oh, this is how I can get back at Paul. I'm gonna steal these Kobe's, and then Wyatt's gonna take Paul.
Oh yeah, that means so much to me, Vars. Do it, please. Watch me make a series starting tomorrow. Finding Wide Shoes, Part 1.
Yeah, you want to go viral? If you have never made videos and you want to go viral, maybe start with like, I tried to steal Wyatt's Kobe.
Man, it's a new idea, right? It's a new concept.
It's like the lady who sold her death pile to Josh. You know, and made
there we go. Yeah,
that video did great. You know, don't be afraid to use
yeah, and then just do that concept saying I stole Kevin's chicken on the next one, or that.
I paid one of Kevin's super fans to curse them out in public.
Yeah, see, it's a good idea, man. It could,
not a bad idea.
You never know until somebody tries it. So somebody out there, go steal Kevin's chicken. Just let me know how that works out for you.
Do it. That's right.
I appreciate you coming on. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Thank you for having me.